Hi Gina.
Hi Ione, hi everyone. I'm Gina, the senior editor of Polyester.
And I'm Ione, the founding editor-in-chief of Polyester, and this is the Polyester Podcast, a feminist pop culture podcast dissecting the discourse on a weekly basis.
Please make sure to like, rate, subscribe and review. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to our membership platform for exclusive podcast-centered perks. We're offering exclusive video episodes, secret mini episodes, and even episodes centered on what you want us to talk about across different tier options. Go check it out at the link in our description. Do we have any reviews, Ione?
We do. This one is from Apple Podcasts, 5 stars by Nimi in the UK. I never skip an episode. I'm finally a Polyester member. If you're reading this, you should join.
Oh,
True.
Thank you, Nimi.
Thank you. And then we have on Spotify, Soup, who says, I've been working through your back catalogue, have really enjoyed your perspectives and the way that you bring humour and insight to these topics. Would also like to shout out your researchers. The way that the research and articles are brought together speaks to a really thoughtful curation and analysis. Lots of love from Canada.
Thank you, Soup. And then, thank you from Rob and the research team.
The research team.
Which is Rob.
Which is Rob. And then we have a user called 128376113.
Can you say that again?
128376113.
Perfect.
Who says, thank God. Does anyone have any other pop culture, cultural critical podcasts hosted by people who aren't Swifties and or afraid to criticise her? Lol. Feels like every podcast is Swiftie based.
Not this one, partner.
I can see the Swifties have found the episode from last week though, because we got some thumbs down.
Thumbs downs. Oh great, can't wait for a slew of horrible reviews. Everyone should give us really nice reviews right now to make up for what is inevitably going to be happening.
What?
A Swiftie bad review.
Once the video goes out, we're done.
What video?
The podcast video.
Oh. You made it sound like a really ominous thing.
What are we doing today?
We're talking about performative men. Do you want to explain what a performative man is?
Yeah. I feel like it's an extension of all the other things going on this summer, aka nothing. So I don't know why people have latched onto this now, because it's happened a million times. But there's been loads of TikToks, loads of social media chatter about performative men. I'm sure they will sound very familiar to many of the listeners of this podcast. This is an article from GQ called "The Performative Male is Just Using Long Shorts and Labubus to Try and Get Laid." This is by Mahalia Chang, as I said, for GQ. So, thought daughter or matcha latte Claro vinyl performative male son. Sylvia Plath reading, film camera toting, ironic t-shirt wearing competition, London Fields, 11 a.m, Labubu blind box vintage order, niche cafe merch tote bag final boss. What does that, oh my god. What does that mean? They're just words.
That is just words, yeah. But it's performative words.
Now, TikTok For You pages are being filled with 20-something guys reading green flag feminist literature and drinking overpriced matcha lattes. They carry Labubus and disposable cameras, not because they especially love these things, although yeah, some of them do, but because it's a material sign to the female gaze, a horny homing beacon blinking out the hinge hero dating universe. There's a formula to the fit too. There's usually a baggy trouser or short, denim, although black slacks are accepted. T-shirts are tight, but often accompanied by an oversized flannel or denim jacket. Loafers are common, with high white socks as a trendy, slim-soled sneakers. The rest reads like an Essence best-selling list. Little specs, beater caps, Arcteryx, probably didn't say that right, beanies, silver chains and rings, belt accessories, wired headphones. It's a fit designed to tick, methodically, each box of perceived female desire. This is a fit that signals that this is a man who listens to the right albums, buys the right accessories, and visits the right bookstore. So that's it. And then it's also because there's been, much like the celebrity lookalike competitions of 6 months ago, there has been performative male competitions.
I didn't even know there was performative male competitions until right now.
No, me either.
What do they do at it?
Wear tote bags. Have a Labubu.
Or they come trying to look like the most like performative male.
Yeah.
This is going to end up somewhere weird. Like something horrible where people are going to be doing really like dodgy stereotypes and we're all going to be like, right.
Homophobia.
Anything. No, like it's going to be like a competition where everyone's like, I don't think you should have done a lookalike for that.
Like what?
I don't know.
Oh, don't say a bad one. Yeah, I don't know why I asked that.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
But I do think that it will be the end point. Do you not think? And then everyone will be like, fun's over.
The thing is, I think the fun the fun was over like 3 weeks into December of last year when these things first started happening. Timothy Chalamet attended his. Cool, done. Reach the peak, fun's over.
Yeah, fun's over, but I think like...
I would say Timothy Chalamet is performative male. If we are using this index, he's performative male.
But a celebrity's kind of like moulded into a performative male because they're like, you need to tick all these boxes to appeal to your fan base.
Let me speak for a minute. What the fuck is everyone on about here saying, oh, this is just like a shorthand for the female gaze? What are you on about? These people have always existed, and not everyone wants a skinny little man with a tote bag.
That tweet was just like, of course, Timothy's dating Kylie Jenner, who told you to get a bob and a tote bag.
Exactly. Like, the thing is, these types of men have always existed. What was Johnny Depp before he was the big evil man? He was one of these men for the 90s. Like, who else has been, like, any man in a band ever?
Yeah, it used to be like, they used to be called hipsters, and they were called soft boys, and now they're called performative males.
Yeah, in this article, it's like, one of these research articles, it's like, oh, it's related to the soft boy. No, it is just a soft boy, and we have to think of new fucking words for everything.
Yes,
because we have nothing else to talk about because the world's fucking shit.
Well, it's just like every now and then, like, someone will be like, you know, there's a dating trend I've noticed, like, that men trying to appeal to women inauthentically. And then someone will go, oh my God, they're so right. They do this and they do this. And then someone else will tag onto it and being like, yeah, I got fucked around by a guy wearing cargo trousers. And then we'll be like, wow, me too. And be like, what about boys named Josh? And then everyone goes, Josh is evil. It's just like, okay, girlies, I think the common denominator is
Men.
And the one thing I thought when I was reading this research, though, was just like, let them. I was like, men used to be told to, like, how to pull women was by being horrible to us, negging us, and not being interested in anything we're interested in. So if the boys want to, like, read a book and raise us up, let them. Maybe they'll, oh, he's reading Sylvia Plath. What a poser. Maybe he'll learn something from it. Maybe he'll learn, whoa, you know what we should decide that we really love?
What?
Feminist literature. Deep dive feminist literature.
Well, I think the problem is that the argument against performative maleism is, but also, I'm sorry, sometimes I never know what I'm going to think about something going into the research. And today I've come out so staunchly pro-men for some reason. I'm like, I will defend performative masculinity until my dying day. But for why? I don't know why. But yeah, I think the problem here is that people are going, oh, he doesn't look like a man that hurts me, but he acts like a man that hurts me. I think this is a lesson I learned very young because I grew up in Brighton, which is just like performative boy HQ. There used to be this boy in my school.
He's listening right now, like...
He might be. That, yeah, used to, like, read feminist literature all the time. And he had a diary that he wrote lyrics in his own blood. And he used to go to Starbucks every day after school and order a chai latte. And no one knew what a chai latte was then because it was 2007. And, yeah, he's, like, the blueprint of performative masculinity. And he's still like that today.
There was a boy in my school called Feed the Horse Morse because he was really good at fingering. That's what masculinity was in my school.
Fuck's sake. Oh my God.
We didn't have any of that shit. I didn't have a Starbucks till I went to uni.
No, I know. This is what I'm saying. Like, because I grew up in a city.
What, you think you're jaded to it?
Obviously, yeah. But also, this just always existed. Like, I grew up around boys that did this. Like, my now husband used to come to school with, like, a Fred Perry side bag and winkle pickers on because that was what was cool in hipster times.
Not the winkle.
Trust me.
But I think what I take umbrage with is that it's the female gaze. Like, what does that even mean?
No, exactly. I mean, we've just got, I think this whole thing, we've just got like such a gross misunderstanding of what all these actual terms that used to mean something mean. And it's like, now we're seeing the therapy speak effect, but with like academia. And academia shouldn't be gatekept at all. Like, it would be, I'd love everyone to know and use these. But performativity, like, you don't wake up one day and think, do you know what? I'm going to really, really try to make women attracted to me today, but actually be evil. Like, people don't knowingly perform stuff. That's not the point of performativity. Like, it's just like, what man do you think is waking up being like, I actually think that these trainers are so fucking ugly, but if they help me pull, I will wear them.
I think that some men do that.
Some, yeah,
And
but do you
watch
really
YouTube
think it's
videos.
every man that can be found on like
No, I think
a
they
London Fields corner? No, they've moved to London Fields because they want to feel cool.
And
They
all-
want to do that. They're doing it for themselves and the women.
And they're doing it for each other as well.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to be like the softest soft boy for out of all their mates more than like, it's like how people always like, women wear makeup for other women. Men are wearing all this shite, whatever that list was,
Yeah.
for the other boys.
Like, I think it's okay and fun to take the piss out of boys, for sure. But I also just think it's not new.
I also think it's weird to call it performative masculinity because they're being feminine.
Yeah, no, I think this is part of it because, yeah, there's this, in the research, there's a good article by James Factorer in Them, the magazine, which is called What If We Told You That All Males Are Performative? And it starts by saying, calling men who drink matcha and paint their nails performative had always struck me as silly, but of course it was through conversation with another trans person that it would become clear to me why the trend induces such an eye roll. And then this is a quote from this person's friend. It's a quote from the author. Cis people come so close to understanding that all gender is performative, I said to her, only to turn right back around and reinscribe gender norms. There have been meta-ironic performative male contests in New York, Chicago, Seattle, and even Jakarta. I keep thinking to myself, all of these look like contests just dragged for straight people, but that's a question for another essay. I don't think that's a question for an essay. I think that's just a thought, babe. But anyway.
Babe.
Supposedly.
That's just a thought, babe.
It is. It's just a tweet.
Well, more things should be just a tweet.
But not Twitter anymore.
I miss the heyday of Twitter. I've been throwing out so many fucking 10 out of 10 tweets and being met with silence.
Get on Threads.
Get me back on Blue Sky. Back on Blue Sky never was. Get me on there.
At the end of 2023, then managing editor Samantha Allen and I discussed the various gendered memes that dominated that year, like Girl Dinner and Sassy Male Apocalypse. At the time, I posited that the pattern felt akin to hipster racism phenomenon of the Obama era, wherein progressives would make ironically racist jokes in order to signal how post-racial they were. Your favourite thing? Well, no. I'm not saying you do it. No. You've spoken about that on podcast before.
I have spoken about that on podcast.
Performative, whatever
it's like
it
people
is.
who are like, I love Family Guy.
Yeah, exactly. You've talked about how much you hate that before on the podcast, so it's opposite of your favourite thing. In today's supposedly post-sexist era, we're seeing a compulsory urge to taxonomize everything into the gender binary, and maybe this shouldn't be surprising. The concept of transgender is more mainstream now than ever, so it makes sense that these men are from Mars, women are from Venus-style jokes would spur as the subconscious reactions to perceived destabilization of the traditional gender paradigm. And also, it reminds me of a tweet or something that I saw where how people think comedy now is just like naming a person that lives in a place. Like, oh, you got a greyhound and live in London Fields? Haha. That's not a joke.
Yeah, and it's so specific to cities.
I like this hyper specificity because I guess it's fun, but I wouldn't say it's funny.
No, it's fun in the way that we were saying there was AI things are fun where you see the things that you recognize in it, or well,
it's exactly the same thing basically.
It applies to you, so you're like, I like this, rather than being
because of the internet and all of these things and even algorithms and everything, we're trying to train our brain to be an algorithm, and that things are as simple as going good, bad, this type of person lives here and eats that type of food and drinks that type of coffee. And lots of times stereotypes can be true when they're not harmful and all of that, and people start categorizing things out of a need to belong and a want to belong and a want to understand the world, but they are simplistic.
Yeah.
And not funny, in my opinion.
Yeah. And some men are softer than others.
Yeah.
And probably based on where they're from as well.
Well, no, I just think I just don't see how. And I guess the new emergence of this is performative, men know women like it, is because I guess before the internet, men would just be going on vibes, whereas now they're going on data or content of women saying they like it.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, quick break.
We're back from the break.
Yes. But...
What?
Yes, we are back. So what else are your thoughts, Gina?
There's a really good article in the research in The Guardian called Labubu's The Bell Jar Tampons, The Performative Male Attracts Attention by Ellie Bramley. Ellie Violet Bramley, sorry. And it ends on a Slavoj Žižek quote, which I found really interesting, where he says, even if we do not take things seriously, even if we keep an ironical distance, we are still doing them. And he's talking about how people being conscious that they're doing a performance is not the same as transcending it. So like being aware that like what someone is doing is performative just adds another layer to it. It doesn't mean that you're like more free of being performative yourself. Like a truly radical act, in his view, would be to drop the performance of being above the performance. And I thought that was really interesting, to be like, it'd be more like on the nose, and I think probably more accepted from men, or even like any of us, to be like, yeah, men are being performative, but so am I. All of it is performative. And I think that ties into like the gender from the Them article as well, to be like, we're all just fucking little bees trying to make it home to the honeycomb.
What do you mean, the bees?
Like, we're all just vibing around life, and everything we do is a choice that's based on how we want to be perceived.
Yeah.
All of us are doing it.
Yeah, of course. Everyone, yeah.
Everyone across the spectrum, and even you can just say like performative male can just as easily be that toxic end of the spectrum.
I don't know though. I think it does get a bit weird when you're talking about like, I think the actual being of like these performative masculine behaviors takes on a different thing when it's actually a competition. Yeah, like, because if you are taking this like it's a performance, but in the fact that it's literally an artifice that you're showing up and performing in a competition of a stereotype. Yeah,
but aren't they dressing up for that?
Yeah, exactly. But as in like that transcends something where like that is actual performance, that constitutes an actual performance. That's the same as doing a drag show. That's the same as like a drag king going on stage and like doing a funny bit about performative men.
Yeah, but no one's just doing the competitions and then going back home and dropping it all and being something else.
How do you know that? I think people will be doing that.
If they are, then they're doing it to be ironical and yeah, do like a drag-esque sort of performance. But I think the term performative male has come from men who are genuinely acting like that.
Yeah, but what I agree with you. But what I'm saying is that like there's a difference when you're doing something as a performance than like as in a closed environment, as to actually just the gender theory idea of performance.
Well, yeah. I just think that those are two different things. Like, people have taken this stereotype that they've spotted amongst men to call them performative males because they're doing X, Y, Z, and then someone's taken that to make a joke competition. Yeah. But I think like the actual men doing it aren't the same as the people. Aren't like, that's a separate conversation, the competition of it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, or yeah.
Yeah.
But
great. That's fixed then.
But I think that it gets difficult to talk about like, oh, what's performativity and what's ironic if you're like actually discussing something as something that's staged, rather than like, you know, you walk to a coffee shop and a man reading Sylvia Plath isn't like knowingly staging a performance. He's being performative in the way that we all perform gender,
that's what I'm saying,
through a series of like conditioned behaviors. Whereas I think you can't then like take, like, if you then take that and put it in a closed setting, it's because that's where it can become satire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I think that,
whereas I think the irony quote, sorry to interrupt, I understand, but I see it as a bit more like, oh, if you're ironically being like edgelordy and right wing, you are actually just being right wing, which is true.
Yeah. What irony quote?
The irony quote that you read out, like if you're doing a performance ironically, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're agreeing with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm saying dependent on context.
Well, exactly. But
I think still say, and I also just think like talking about like politics or like racism or like actual marginalisation is a bit different of taking the piss out of like white boys that read.
Exactly. White boys that read. The rarity. I think, I say this as someone who's married to someone who can't read. What I was going to say is that I think that's the real scourge, is people basing their identities in irony. Because who the fuck are you then?
No, I know exactly. Like,
it's like you're trying to place yourself at this like top of this hierarchy, that you understand society and understand what's going on and understand culture so much that you are validated enough, you are the authority enough that you can be ironical about it. Like,
also not to come back in with like the men's right brigade, but it is a bit mean to like be like, oh, like some people just do that because they do earnestly think it's cool, or because they like a book, or they're trying to figure it out, and then someone's being like, ha ha ha, you're a joke.
Well, that's been the problem with the whole thing of calling anyone a poser.
I mean, I don't think a man should wear a Labubu, but that's just my own opinion on no one should wear a Labubu.
I've got this comic strip in my house by Clarice Tudor, and on it she's like, it's someone being like, it's two little characters, and one of them's like, haha, you're a try hard, and then the little character that was trying hard is really sad. Then someone really cool comes past on a skateboard and thinks, I think it's cool to try hard, and they skateboard away. And I've always just loved that.
Well, there's that Addison Rae thing when she went on the like pop New York Times pop, or like she went on like some sort of YouTube cooking show or whatever, and it was like, why don't you try at all?
Well, exactly. And like the thing is, it's these people who think that they're so ironical and above it, being like, they're trying so hard. It's like, what? You're the trying harder. Because you've based your whole life on wanting to be
not perceived as trying.
The top of pop culture. The top of like social interaction. The top of understanding internet humour.
Mm-hmm.
Who's really the performative?
Tell them.
Who's really performing there? And that's the thing. Like if you, like Zizek's just said, if you were like, yeah, like I am actually a knobhead. Like, I'm trying to be ironical, I'd have more respect towards her.
No, I wouldn't have respect for it. Irony is the lowest form of wit.
Well, I'd have more respect if they were, like, mega-minded and being like, that is bad.
But I think it's irony. I think sarcasm's really funny. And irony is for losers.
Are they not similar?
Not really.
What do you mean? Yeah, they are.
I wouldn't say so.
I would.
Okay, fair enough. That's another episode another day. Let's just leave that one there. Another thing that I asked Rob to bring into the research was that, like, for the first time, women are out-educating men in terms of lots of women are marrying men below their education level. So, like, for example, like a university-educated woman is marrying, like, a man with a trade. Gina.
I gotta recommend it, folks. Truly gotta recommend it, folks. Let me just say one thing. I recommend it.
Why?
It's just nice.
Well, you're kind of saying the opposite of like what you said at the beginning.
What?
You're happy that your man doesn't read feminist literature.
He knows it though. He reads like feminist
comic books.
Comic books, yeah. Like, what's the name of the woman who invented the what's it called? What? Yeah, Alison Bechdel. He's read all of them. And his favourite film's Ghost World.
I'm not saying...
You can't just only access...
Sorry, I'm not saying he's not feminist, am I? I'm saying he's less educated than you.
Yeah, it was quite implied though, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't implied.
Implied?
Isn't that what you just said?
It said implied. It wasn't implied, I swear implied. I swear implied.
It's quite impolite.
Yeah, you were being implied.
I wasn't. I'm saying I don't think Mav's a scholar.
Well, no.
But also, education doesn't mean anything. It just means you're a good person.
Well, exactly.
Exactly.
I recommend it.
And this is what it all comes down to. Like, you can't binary out a man as good or bad. And now we've decided the things that would make someone good actually makes them bad.
What?
Like, you can't... I think it's easy to speak in simplistic terms, especially about men, and it's fun. Yeah? But before, in previous times of the world... You'd be like, oh, a man's reading a lovely book. He's so sensitive and in touch with his feminine side.
Yeah.
Now you're saying he's a rotted twat. I don't trust him because he just wants to fuck me over. But neither of those things you can't know.
You can't know until you know him.
You have to keep your heart open.
You've got to keep your heart open. Which I guess is kind of like what the performative male trend is about, though, because they're like, these men are performing as though they're those sensitive
and then they're horrible. But any man can do, like, men do that all the time.
And any man can be sensitive. He can have a trait and be a very sensitive soul.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
And it's classist anyway.
Yeah, obviously it's classist, like, so many different things, and, like, racist and, like, all of these other things, ableist, like, etc., etc., etc. But I think the, like, women marrying down in bunny quotes is probably because we just, as we've discussed on this podcast before, feel like more freedom in who we can choose as partners, because marriage isn't so reliant on, like, our well-being isn't so intrinsically tied to marriage, like, as in, like, being provided for, relying on a man's income, etc., etc., etc.
Well, I think I read this statistic, it's not in the research, but women have outperformed men academically ever since they've entered academics.
I don't think you read it. I think Grace told you it, which is nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. But like over and over again, like...
Well, no, exactly. And now we're just seeing more people that are educated in general, but especially women, I guess.
Yeah.
Like more women can reach university level than they have in previous generations.
Yeah, and trade work or like work that you can get from not having those qualifications. Not just traditionally masculine, but I think they also provide more for you if you enter like kind of more masculine workforces, like having a trade.
Provide more for you, what do you mean?
Money. Like you can make a lot more money as like someone who hasn't got a degree through like masculine means of work.
Like feminine.
Than feminine ones, which are like what? Say working in a shop or something.
Yeah.
But those places are like female dominated. The male dominated workforce is more viable.
Yeah, and also something I thought was crazy. So, The New Marriage of Unequals by Stephanie H. Murray on the Wall Street Journal. And she says, some people might imagine that women married to less educated men are uber feminists, happy to shirk traditional gender roles. And yeah, men with less education tend to hold more traditional views on gender. What do you mean?
Me when I'm classes.
Yeah, innit, literally.
Me when I'm just classes as fuck.
Which could suggest that the highly educated women marrying them also hold or at least open to more traditional views. But that's not... You just can't.
That's just so made up.
Information is so much more easily accessible now to people. Like, you can't just be like, oh, if a man doesn't go uni, he's not going to know what feminism is.
Also, it's so much like based on like how you were brought up, the people you're around, like all that kind of stuff, and to just assume that.
Yeah, just because you didn't go uni doesn't make you like a trad.
Yeah. It's also like why we've got people like Trump in power, because the left just loves to make out like these people are stupid and these people don't understand these things and don't even bother to speak to them, whereas then someone like Trump, who will target working class men in particular and be like, you're unhappy because everyone in the world's fucking unhappy because we're all in a massive recession and we're all about to be nuked by an atomic bomb, but here's the things that can solve it. And if you're only getting fed stuff by people on the right, then you're going to start to like understand it. And I'm not just saying that like, oh, working class men will only vote for the right, but it's where it starts to get murky when all these assumptions are made about like what a working class man would believe or wouldn't believe.
Yeah, well, I just think that like also a lot of people use their education as like a shield to criticism. Like, oh, well, I'm educated, so therefore I'm not X, Y, or Z. But it's like all our politicians are really educated and they're the most fucking bigoted people ever.
And they're all thick as shit.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well...
We covered a lot of ground there.
We did, really. Whistle Stop Tour in masculinity.
Let us know what you think in the comment section.
Yeah, thank you, Gina.
Thank you, Ione.
Thank you, Rob, for the research and Olivia for the edit. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.